It's the start of the La Liga season, and I've noticed something that Don Carlo is doing. He's copying me. He's copying me.
Oh, unbelievable. I tell you, I cannot believe.
So let me explain. If we go over to the recent playlist of the weirdest tactics in FM, there's all sorts on there, including playing multiple wingers out wide. And that's what he's been doing. Everyone wondered how he was going to fit in Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Jude. Looks like he's found a unique way. What's happening, everyone? So really, you would think 4-3-3 for Real Madrid, Vinicius on one side, Rodrigo on the other, Mbappe, Endrick coming on, bedding his way into the match, Jude being an attacking midfielder. That looks fine. That looks fine. A nice standard 4-3-3. But not for Carlo. This was brought to my attention by my good friend FM Trek, who found this on Twitter, so some guy mocking the way Ancelotti set up. In fact, it was all over Twitter. You can see there that this guy highlighted 3 players basically playing in the same position, and that 3 is Vinicius, Mbappe and Rodrigo. Now, Ancelotti is famous for telling players to get out on the pitch and do what you want with minimal instructions, but what it looks like here is that these 3 all want to play in the same position, so they're just saying, sod it, let's go and play in the same position. So as you can imagine, this gave me and my stupid mind one of my stupid ideas. No longer will we set up in a nice standard looking 4-3-3. I decided to start experimenting.
Wow, unbelievable.
And already in pre-season, I could see the overloads in full effect. Bang, there we can see it. There's the 3 players playing in those roles for this pre-season friendly. And it was causing havoc, especially to Newcastle. Now, it was only a friendly, but it was 5-0, and the players seemed to enjoy their new roles. But that's pre-season. How about a big game against Atletico Madrid, away from home as well, a derby? Again, we set up in that unique formation, and again, we got the win, and this time it was even more impressive. It quickly became clear that opposition defenders had no idea who to mark. If we pause it there, we can see we've got an absolute host of players in that pocket. Rodrigo's about to join them as well. They had no idea who to mark, and Vinicius takes advantage as Mbappe drags away the markers. So that was a 5-goal win against Bilbao. They won the Super Cup against Atalanta, and early in the season it looks like nobody can deal with us. So I created this to kind of replicate what they were doing against Mallorca. It didn't really work, to be fair, in real life, because they only drew 1-1, but if you look at the Sofa score, average positions, you can see why I've came up with this. Looks like it's going to be either that or that. They need to sort themselves out, but on FM... Now, I fully expected the game to catch up with us and work us out, but we just kept getting better and better. Everything coming from that side. Biggest win so far was 8-0, and the performances are outrageous. Now, if we take a look at the average positions, you get there by going to this tab, pressing teams, and then all this comes up here. Down to average positions, select your team, go for your first 11, and then you've got these 3 tabs to play with. So if you look at the average possession with the ball, you can see our overloads on the left-hand side. We have Vinicius and Mbappe over there, and Rodrigo there. And if I put the Sofa score average position thing up, you can see it's pretty similar. Now, without the ball, they drop into that sort of shape for an overall positions of that. So it's October now, and we are literally murdering teams, and you can see the link-ups coming down that left-hand side. If only they allowed us to get that link-up between those 2, we could have something beautiful looking. But still, what have we created? And remember, it all comes from the 4-3-3. That Ancelotti tactic there is from FM23. I remade it for FM24. It's a nice 4-3-3. It works a treat, especially with Real Madrid. But when we've gone to this one, it's just gone to another level. That's the way they sit after 9 matches. Played 9, won 9, 430 against 2. Right, we've scooted forward to New Year's Eve, and one team has stopped us in the league. We played Hansi Flick's Barcelona away from home, but it wasn't them who stopped us. Amazingly, it was Alaves who had 4 shots, 3 went in, and a beat us 3-2. Despite that, we are top of the league, having won 17 out of 18, only conceding 7 goals all season. So they're loving this tactic. The only people who aren't loving this tactic are my wing-backs, who have both got themselves crocked for months on end. But I will put this in Patreon so you can have a go with it. I'll also put in there the original 4-3-3, because that is a root of a 4-3-3. It's just been completely gazumped by this one. Halfway through the season, obviously Mbappe's got himself 19 in the league, 22 overall. Vinicius from that lower start point with 5 goals, but he's got 8 assists as well. And Rodrigo playing as a shadow striker with 12. Now, the big question is, they are so strong because of the team they've got. So how would a tactic like that fare in a weaker team, right?
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
I'm expecting it not to be as good. Obviously, Real Madrid are a different level, but we'll try it with Besiktas in Turkey. And after a bit of a stop-start opening, they really jumped into it in the second half of the season, getting used to it, and had some good results. If it wasn't for that poor start, they probably would have finished higher, but Galatasaray, shout out for that season. Runner-up in the 2 cups and a 4th place finish isn't bad. But for now, let's go back to Real Madrid and see how they finished that season. Needless to say, it was pretty impressive. Now, the league was obliterated with 99 points. Not quite 100 goals, but probably more impressively, they only conceded 21. Let's give a big shout out to Valencia, who somehow unlocked the puzzle and battered Madrid 6-0. I mean, that's bizarre, but let's all just blame Vinicius for that red card he got. It was his bad touch in the first place. Oh. Despite that, they did beat Liverpool twice in the Champions League. They also knocked out PSG, and Vinicius redeemed himself. And in the Champions League final, the team down the left completely obliterated Man City, who couldn't deal with it either. Both goals coming from down that side in the final. So 4 trophies, and it was nearly 5, but Barca actually beat them. They did beat them in the Spanish Cup. They didn't beat them in the league, though. We did a double over Barca. So we used that tactic throughout, plus 53 chances against the opposition. It was just a beast. Team chemistry is there. It's beautiful. I think he probably ended up with about 50 goals, did he? 40. Every starting player other than left-back Mendy finishes above a 7 average rating. Loads of assists, loads of goals, just a beast. So give it a go, tweak as you will, but Don Carlo, if you're going to be using that tactic, just watch out for Valencia, my man.